The Galactic Council chamber fell into an eerie silence as Ambassador Melissa Chen stood before the semicircular assembly of alien delegates. Her dark eyes scanned the room with a mixture of disappointment and quiet resolve. Behind her, Commander Liam Torres remained stone-faced, his military uniform crisp and unwrinkled despite the journey across 3 solar systems to reach this moment. "You cannot be serious," hissed Cathrax, the Serpentine delegate, his scales rippling with agitation. "Humanity would abandon the Council over such a trivial matter?" Melissa's jaw tightened. Trivial. They called it trivial when the Council had voted to sacrifice the colony world of New Terra, home to 4 million human settlers, to appease the expansionist Krell Empire. The vote had been unanimous among the non-human members. Humanity stood alone. Trivial? Melissa's voice carried across the chamber with crystalline clarity. "You voted to condemn an entire world of my people to death or slavery. You call that trivial?" The Voxian choir, a collective consciousness of floating jellyfish-like beings, pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Their translator hummed to life. "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. New Terra's sacrifice prevents a war that would consume billions. Surely you understand basic mathematics, human." Liam stepped forward, his hand resting on the data pad at his hip. "We understand math just fine. We also understand something you seem to have forgotten, that every single one of those 4 million people has a name. A family, dreams they'll never fulfill if we let you throw them away." The assembled delegates shifted uncomfortably. The Galactic Council had stood for 12,000 years, maintaining peace through careful diplomacy and calculated sacrifices. Species came and went, but the Council endured. Humanity had been members for barely 2 centuries. Newcomers who didn't understand how things worked. Elder Voranas of the ancient Praetorians, one of the founding species, spoke with the weight of millennia. "Young species, you do not comprehend the complexity of galactic politics. We have maintained peace through difficult choices. Your emotional attachment blinds you to the greater good." Melissa felt the weight of humanity's file in her hands, the formal withdrawal. Documentation that would sever ties between Earth and the Council forever. 200 years of carefully built relationships, trade agreements, cultural exchanges, all reduced to ashes. "The greater good," she repeated softly. "Tell me, Elder, how many of your people have you sacrificed for this greater good? How many Praetorian worlds have you offered up to hostile empires?" The ancient being's silence spoke volumes. "That's what I thought," Melissa continued. "It's always someone else's people, isn't it? Someone else's children. Someone else's homes." The Krell representative, a massive crustacean-like being, slammed a claw against his podium. "This is the natural order. The strong survive, the weak are consumed. Your species should be grateful we granted you council membership at all. You were barely spacefaring when we found you." Liam's laugh was bitter. "Barely spacefaring. Yet we terraformed 7 worlds in the time it took your empire to conquer 2. We built a fleet that matches yours ship for ship, and we did it without enslaving anyone." "Enough of this posturing," Cathrax interjected. "The decision is made. New Terra will be ceded to the Krell. Humanity will accept this, or face the consequences." Melissa looked at Liam, and something passed between them, an understanding forged not just in this moment, but in the countless briefings, the late-night strategy sessions, the agonizing decision-making that had brought them here. She turned back to the Council, her spine straight, her voice unwavering. "No." The single syllable echoed through the chamber like a gunshot. "No?" The Voxian choir flickered with confused patterns. "You refuse the Council's decree?" "We refuse to abandon our people," Melissa clarified. "And we refuse to remain part of an organization that considers any sentient life trivial. Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. All treaties are void. All joint military operations are terminated. All shared technology agreements are null." Horror rippled through the assembly. The Praetorians' crystalline structures dimmed. The Serpentines coiled in agitation. Even the usually impassive Krell representative seemed taken aback. "You'll be isolated," Fornas warned. "No trade, no allies, no protection." Liam activated his data pad, and holographic displays materialized throughout the chamber. Star charts, fleet positions, industrial output, resource distribution. "We've been preparing for this possibility since the vote was announced 3 weeks ago. Humanity doesn't need your protection. We never did." The displays showed the truth they'd been hiding. Earth's defensive fleet had tripled in size. The human colonies, all 73 of them, had activated military production facilities. Supply chains had been rerouted. Defense platforms surrounded every human world. "You've been planning this," Cuthrax accused. "You came here intending to leave." "We came hoping you'd remember what it means to value life," Melissa corrected. "That you'd choose principle over expedience. You disappointed us." She placed the withdrawal documents on the central podium, the physical manifestation of humanity's departure. "We're not just walking away from the Council. We're walking away from the idea that some lives matter less than others. That peace bought with innocent blood is worth having." The Krell representative rose to his full imposing height. "And what of New Terra? You cannot defend it alone against our empire." Liam's smile was cold as vacuum. "Try us. You'll find that humans are very, very good at something you've forgotten over your millennia of easy conquests." "And what is that?" "Fighting." The word hung in the air like a challenge. The Council had grown soft, accustomed to negotiations and calculated retreats. They'd forgotten what it meant to fight for every meter of ground, to refuse surrender even when outmatched. Melissa began walking toward the exit, Liam falling into step beside her. The council chamber erupted in chaos behind them. Delegates arguing, demanding, threatening. Neither human looked back. "They'll realize their mistake too late," Liam murmured as they reached the door. "Maybe," Melissa replied. "Or maybe they'll never understand. But that's not our problem anymore." As they departed, alarms began sounding throughout the council station. Incoming vessels, hundreds of them. The human fleet had arrived not to wage war, but to escort their ambassadors home. A show of force, a statement of intent. In the council chamber, the delegates watched through viewports as humanity's ships positioned themselves in perfect formation. Each vessel gleamed with fresh paint, bristling with weapons and shielded with the latest defensive technology. And on every hull, displayed for all to see, was the flag of New Terra, a world humanity refused to sacrifice. Elder Vornas felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: fear. Not of humanity's weapons or ships, but of what their departure represented. For 12,000 years, the Council had maintained peace through compromise and calculated cruelty. But what happened when someone said no? When someone chose principle over survival? The human fleet began to move, a coordinated dance of hundreds of vessels all heading toward the same destination. Home. And protection. And a future built on their own terms. The Galactic Council watched them go in utter horror, finally understanding what they'd unleashed. They hadn't just lost a member species. They'd created something far more dangerous, an example. Across the galaxy, other species watched and wondered. If humanity could walk away, could they? If humans could defend their own, could others? The Council's foundation, built on fear and acceptance of the unacceptable, began to crack. Ambassador Melissa Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the council station shrink in the viewport. Liam stood beside her, and for the first time in weeks she allowed herself to smile. "Think we did the right thing?" he asked. "I think we did the only thing," she replied. "Now comes the hard part. Keeping our promise." "Keeping our promise," she agreed. Behind them, the fleet adjusted course. Destination, New Terra. 4 million people who would live free or not at all. Because that's what it meant to be human. To choose the hard right over the easy wrong, even when the whole galaxy said otherwise. The Galactic Council could keep their peace built on bones. Humanity would forge something better. Or die trying.